Welcome back, y'all. Well, I don't know if you remember, but here a while back I made barbecue chicken, and I saved the broth out of the crock pot. Well, that's what we're working with today. I'm also going to start using some garlic powder, onion powder, and that'll probably be about it because I'll have enough chicken stock in there. But first of all, this is a cheap, easy meal for a small family, 1 or 2 people, because we're not going to use but 1 chicken breast right here. And what I'm going to do is put it in this bowl, microwave safe bowl I've got. I've got to put a little bit of water in it. Now this chicken breast is not thawed up, it's frozen. So what I'm going to do is put it in the microwave and defrost it. Put it in there for about 10 minutes while I'm working on this other stuff. Now let's see. This. First of all, I'm going to take my chicken stock. And this was where I cooked that chicken. And it was put in the crock pot. It was one of my previous videos where, and see, this is already sealed. So there's no danger of it going bad. But here a while back, a couple of weeks ago, I made some barbecue chicken, and I started off by cooking it in the crock pot for a couple of hours. Then I took it out. Well, I saved all the chicken stock from that chicken, and that's what we're going to be cooking with today. Well, I'm going to have to first get it out of the jar, because that little bit of chicken fat at the top is hard. I'll put just a little bit of water in there, because we need a little bit of water to cook that our dumplings that we're going to make, or our pastry. And I may have to put more than that in there, I don't know, but go ahead and get that heated up. I've got a can of Grandma's Flaky Layers biscuit. I'm not even going to go to the trouble to make the pastry. I'm going to use biscuit dough. And we can go ahead and be doing that, because this is supposed to be a quick, easy, low-cost meal that you can make in the summer. You don't have to spend hours in the kitchen, and it's quick and easy. You don't have to heat up that oven. And you don't have to spend hours slaving over the stove too long. Make your pastry. Now all I'm going to do, and I guess I could take this out of the way, give me more room on my counter. I already wiped the front of it off, so I'll go ahead and wipe the back. Don't want any foreign objects on my dough. Now I'm just going to simply flatten this out. You can use a rolling pin or anything you want. And I'm not going to flatten it too thin. Just flatten it enough that you can cut it. And then I'm just going to cut thin strips about the size of a French fry. Because they'll swell up. So with one chicken breast, 1 can of buttermilk flaky biscuits, or any kind of biscuits you want, and a quart jar full of chicken stock that I saved from my crock pot chicken that I cooked, or the barbecue chicken. Would have to do that. Let me go wash it off. I dropped it. But anytime you cook something like that in your crock pot, whether it be beef or chicken or pork or whatever, if you have stock left in that pot, save it, because you never know when you're going to make a dish that you'll need that stock. And see, I've got fresh homemade stock here. I don't have to buy chicken stock, and I don't have to use bouillon in it because I've got a whole quart of chicken stock. Now you can take any pieces of chicken you want. I just happen to have, you know, chicken breast frozen. So I'm taking out 1 chicken breast. And that's what I'm putting in here. Because that 1 chicken breast is going to be plenty to add chicken to this pot. Because it's a pretty good size chicken breast. And like I said, you can take something and roll this out if you want. You can make it as thin as you want. Cut it any way you want. I'm just going to do it this way. Thin strips. That way I don't have to roll it out as thin. About the size of a good sized French fry. Not McDonald's, because they're really extremely small, but maybe like Wendy's French fries, about the size of them. And remember, we already had seasoning in that stock. So you really don't have to add seasoning, except maybe if by taste you wanted to add salt or pepper, or a little bit more onion powder or garlic powder to it. But I always look for easy, quick meals that you can prepare in the summertime that are good, they're nutritious, and you don't spend all day in the kitchen. And you don't have to heat the whole house up cooking. I mean, that's what I look for. And this is a perfect dish to do that. And of course, if you got a big family, you may have to increase the amounts of each ingredient. But I never get rid of my stock, whether it's from beef, chicken, pork, whatever kind of meat I cook, I save the stock from it. And voila, I've got a whole stack of pastry right there. Got a little bit of dough stuck on my cutting board, but I get that right off. You know, in instances like this, I'll use my cutting board, but it's just too big to try to pick up and wash. So sometimes, depending on where I want to cut up stuff, you know, I may want to use the smaller one. And I think I will put just a tiny bit more water in there. So you may, if your chicken stock is really strong, you can go ahead and add that much water to your stock, and that should be plenty for me, because that's almost 2 quarts of liquid. There's about a quart, almost a full quart of beef chicken stock, and I almost put a quart of water in. I am going to stir it a little bit, and then I'm going to taste it. Just to see if I need to add any more seasoning. May need to add some salt, because I added onion powder and garlic, but I didn't put salt in it much. And some pepper. And I use seasoned sea salt or Himalayan salt, the pink salt. Give it a stir. And get my spoon rest over here, because I had it in a dish drainer. Needs a little bit more salt. And I think that'll do it. Let me check on my chicken. I'm going to go ahead and cook it for about 5 minutes while this is still heating up. And it's so easy when you've already got your stock on hand. You've already got your can of biscuit. You got a chicken breast, or you can use chicken thighs, chicken drumsticks, any pieces of chicken you want. Like I said, I happen to have pretty big chicken breasts that I froze individually. So I'm using one frozen big chicken breast in mine. I love chicken and dumplings. It don't matter if you make them with biscuit dough, homemade dough, however you make your pastry, it's still good. This is just quick and easy. I'm all about quick and easy, especially in the summer when it's hot. I don't want to spend all day in the kitchen cooking, because I'm just cooking for myself, you know. And rather than just eat a sandwich every day, I'll just go ahead and fix a quick, easy meal like this. And, you know, I'm going to have several meals out of this. It's not going to be just dinner tonight. It's going to be maybe lunch and dinner tomorrow, and lunch and dinner the next day. Because I can't eat a ton at one time. I mean, I've got a bad stomach, ulcer or whatever, I don't know, but my stomach can't handle a lot of food at one time. Sometimes I eat a lot and then I pay for it later. Yeah, but if you'll learn how to save your stock from any of your meat that you're cooking, unless you're going to use the stock in the recipe you're cooking at the time, then you can't save it. But like me, when I was barbecuing that chicken, you know, I cooked my chicken in the crock pot. I saved my beef stock, my chicken stock. I took my chicken out and then put the barbecue sauce and stuff on it. And then put it in the oven. So anytime you do something like that, you need to save your stock from that meat. Doesn't matter what kind of meat it is. One more minute on the microwave. Microwaves are great, aren't they? Speeds up cooking so much faster. And without heating your kitchen up. It's like 102, 103 degrees out there today, so you know, I don't want to put any more heat in my house, in my kitchen, than I have to. And I'm sure you're the same way. And some of you have been working all day. You don't want to come home and spend hours making pastry, cooking chicken, getting your chicken stock, doing all that. It's a lot of work, especially after you put in 8 hours on a job. You want to come home and have a good meal, but you want it quick and easy. You don't want to go to any big fuss over it. And you don't want to go to a big expense. You don't want to make a big mess, because then you got to turn around and clean up all that. You have enough to clean up just by the pot you're cooking in and the plate you're eating out of, my way of thinking. Need that bowl. I took it out, but I'm gonna put the chicken back in the bowl that I cook it in. Let me get a mitt. I know that bowl is scalding hot. Woo! Hot, hot. Get that lid off of it. Woo! Steam almost will burn your hands. We'll go ahead and get that piece of chicken out. And that little bit of stock right in that bowl is going right in the pot. Because that's just more added chicken stock right there. Now I'm going to proceed to try to break this chicken up. Let me get another fork. I thought I might have to do it with the knife, but I think it'll pull apart with the fork, maybe. And I'm basically just shredding the chicken. Now usually, you know, especially when I was still married and cooking for more than just myself, I'd cook a whole chicken and debone it and then put it back in the pot, get all the bones out. put the meat back in the pot. And then I dump in my pastry. And it was homemade pastry too. It wasn't biscuit dough. It was homemade pastry. But this is just as good. And it's going to make enough for me, like I said, for several days. I definitely don't want to cook a whole chicken, even though I did when I barbecued it, because I wanted to show you how to do it. But I can show you how to do this just by using one piece. Because you got a big chicken breast, there's a lot of meat there. In fact, the chicken breast and where the wishbone is at the end of the chicken breast, that's where all the meat is from the chicken, basically. I mean, you still got some on the other parts, but not as much. And some of you may like to use the other parts of the chicken in your pastry anyway, because maybe you like the dark meat. I do too. But I always have chicken breast on hand to make dishes like this when I don't want to cook a whole lot of chicken. I could have taken out chicken thighs or legs, but I chose to take this one out. And see, that only took about, I don't know, not even 15 minutes to cook, defrost that piece of chicken and cook it. It took longer to heat that pot of broth up than it did to cook the chicken, basically. And there's a certain part of the breast that has like a bristly part on it. I had to cut that out. I don't like that. I mean, even that just one chicken breast is too much meat for me to eat at one meal. I mean, look how much chicken that is. Get that. Well, I was going to put that back in there, but I didn't even have to. Then my shredded chicken. Look how much chicken that one chicken breast was. Big old plate full. So, I mean, this will be, like I said, it'll be enough chicken and dumplings for several people. Not just one person. So we're going to let that come back to a boil. And I've got the gizzard and the liver and all these other pieces down in here. Which, you know, I like the chicken livers and the gizzards when they're cooked like this. So I can eat them. That's coming back to a good boil. I want to see how much time I've spent so far. 24 minutes. But you want your pot, your broth good and hot. You want your chicken good and hot that you just put in there. And then we're going to gradually add, get you up here close. We're going to gradually add our pastry, our dumplings. Now you can even cut them in half that way, you know, and not even have a long one. You can have a shorter one. Either way is okay. But we're going to drop it all in there. Try to fix it so it's not going to stick together. Make sure it's boiling when you drop them in. Whatever you do, do not stir it. Now, if you need to, take your spatula and just push down on it. Get them under the broth. Get it all good and wet under the broth. But don't stir it. Stirring it will break up your pastry dough. And I might do this. Move it aside so I can put the dough in. So the uncooked dough will go to the bottom. Now, that's all there is to putting your dough in. Turn it down just a tiny bit on to about medium heat, medium to low. Put a lid on it and gently cook it for about, I don't know, 20 minutes. What did I do with my dishcloth? There it is. That's cool enough. I can put it over here. Oh, and I forgot. You got to put some butter in there. I'm going to put, that's about 2 tablespoons of butter I've got right here. I'm just going to drop that butter right in there. That butter is already gone. Yeah, don't ever stir your pastry. Just push it down if you need to, just in the beginning, to let some of that liquid get up on top. Cover it over. And now with it boiling and the steam hitting the lid, it's going to drop back and coat the top of the pastry with wet steam. And while we're doing that, waiting on that, I'm going to be over here washing up some of my dishes. And I wanted to show you something. Well, I got my thing plugged in. Look at my mat over here. You can't hardly even see this dish mat. I had a big brown one and it took up too much space with this dish strainer. But I like this strainer. And I wanted to keep it. So I finally found this drainer at Walmart. It's kind of like a milk glass drainer. I think you can see it. Let me unplug the battery. I mean the charger. So I can move it over here. But see how that strainer, I mean, the tray almost disappears. I love it. The big brown one, it just took up so much space, and it always looked, I don't know, to me it looked bad. So I got rid of the big brown one. I wouldn't keep it. And I got a string up here. But as you know, I keep a bowl on my counter when I'm cooking for all my scraps. And I did eat a couple of pears earlier. So I put those in my compost. And that will go outside when I go. But yeah, I love this dish drainer. It come from Walmart. It was only like $5. And I love the dish drainer because it doesn't, it's not conspicuous up here on my counter. And anytime I need this counter space, I can take the drainer and put it right down in there, put this drainer right on top of it, and it's off my counter. But look how clean it looks. That's one thing I didn't like about the brown one. After a while, it looks dirty. And no matter how much you scrub it and clean it, it still looks dirty. So I'm really happy with this one, and I just wanted to show you that. Because, you know, if you need a dish drainer, you might consider this kind of milk glass colored one from Walmart. And it is a heavy plastic. I mean, it's not glass. But it works great, y'all. I love it. So let's get the camera back. And let me plug my camera back in so the battery don't die. And I'm going to get over here. And we're not only going to watch the pot, but I'm going to wash my dishes. I need to take my frying pan out of there. You know what? I left something on it. I don't know what that is. But I like to clean as I go. I've always said that in all my videos. You know, that I do like to clean as I go. When I'm cooking. That way I don't have a great big old pile of dishes to clean up later. I can sit down and enjoy my meal, kind of, without having to stress about my kitchen's full of dirty dishes. I guess I got it now. This also leaves my sink open. I need to get my, I call it my bottle mop or my jar mop. Where is it? Oh, what did I do with it? Oh, I know what I did with it. I put it up here. My bottle mop, y'all. I call it a bottle mop because I clean bottles, I clean jars, anything that I, you know, need something small to get up in there to clean. I use that. It's a dish mop basically, but you know, it works great in your pots and your jars, your bottles that you need to clean. And you know, I've looked for a new one. I was going to buy another new one, and I can't find them. I guess with the dishwashers, everybody's using dishwashers now. They don't make dish mops anymore. I don't know. And I just rinse it out. Keep it as clean as possible and put it right in the dish drainer with the dishes. Some people say that I live in the past because I live the old-timey country way. Well, I like modern stuff, but I'd like a clothes dryer. I would love a dishwasher. I'd love a brand new house, but money has never been in quantity enough to afford something like that. So I don't stress about it. I can't afford it, so I don't worry. I work with what I got. I wash my can openers every time I use them, because you don't realize that food particles do get on the can opener, and if you don't wash them when you use them, it'll build up, and then it's not good. But yeah, I like this dish drainer a lot better than my old one I had. That's one reason I just kept my dish drainer in the sink. I hated that dish drainer that I had. Let's check on our pastry. And again, I'm not going to stir it. I'm just going to push it down under the liquid. If you try to stir it, it's going to break it all apart. And then you're just going to have mush in your chicken. And it's almost ready. Found this spoon rack is, you have to be careful because if you put your utensils out too far on it, they'll just drip on the stove anyway. So you kind of got to put them up close. Yeah, I don't know how long that took me to wash the dishes. Not 20 minutes though. So this needs to cook just a little bit more. But you can see how the moisture forms on top of the lid, and then it like drops back down on the pastry, getting the top of the pastry wet, and it holds the heat in so it cooks the top. If that makes sense. Yeah, always find quick and easy ways to cook, prepare your meals that, you know, so you have the least amount of cost, the least amount of effort and time spent in the kitchen, and the least amount of cleanup. I don't want to spend all day in the kitchen cleaning up dishes and pots and pans. Looks like there's one piece of pastry at the top. Really needs to go down a little bit. Yeah, just be gentle. Push it down under the liquid, but do not stir it. If you stir it, you will be sorry. And cook it for like about 20 minutes on low to medium heat with it covered. When you take the lid, when you cut the burner off, you may want it just to sit there for another 5 minutes before you try to serve it, because it'll continue cooking a little bit, plus it'll start absorbing a lot of the broth into the pastry, which it tastes real good. Yeah, I am not all for, I've been trying to think of everything to do other than get in the yard and do anything, because it's so hot out there. I've got several things I need to do outside, but like this morning, I got up and I was outside around 7 o'clock watering my rock gardens and all this, and I was back in the house by 10 o'clock. And I don't want to go back out in the heat. It's hot enough in the house with it being 103 or 104 outside, so I always want to find something to do inside. And I found another Zanamia. This is a green multivitamin juice drink. It has apples. It has, I forgot what they call this. But anyway, it's got even fruit. It's got cabbages, it's got tomatoes, it's got strawberries, it's got oranges, celery. I can find the ingredients on it. It contains 20% juice from concentrate. It has apple, orange, pineapple, mango, banana, passion fruit. That's what I was trying to think of, that green fruit. It's passion fruit, peach, lychee, I don't know what that is, guava, pear, kiwi, oh, that was a kiwi, lime, papaya, sugar, and then it goes into the vitamins E, B6, thiamine, folic acid, all the other good stuff that's good for you. That's what I'm going to be drinking with my pastry here. I had water in my container, but I'm going to go ahead and put some ice in it. Yeah, old-timey ice tray. I've got an ice maker that my son and his wife gave me. And I have used it a little bit, but usually I have ice in the freezer, so. And I had to take 2 trays out of the new freezer because I needed the space to put a few flat trays of meat. So I've only got 2 trays left in this old freezer over here. My refrigerator freezer. It's sticking to my fingers. Whoops. I threw a cube. One of the cubes popped out. Get that back in the tray because the door won't shut with it laying there like that. And I made a mess. All this ice on the cutting board. Let's see if I can get this open. Get my hands dried off. I've tried 2 other flavors of this and they were real good, so I know this one has got to be good. And there's quite a bit in there. There's 25.4 fluid ounces in this. So I won't drink it all at one time, that's for sure. It'll probably fill this thermos up twice. So the rest will go in the refrigerator for another time. My floor popping. One of these days, I'll get it all done. Cheers, y'all. Oh my God, that's so good. Y'all try it. Next time you go to the store, if you're looking for a good healthy drink, find you some Zanamia. They're all fruit and vegetables. Every one that I've gotten. I've got one more in there I'll try later on, but this is the one I'm working on now. And that was something I probably never would have tried, but my anonymous subscriber sent me 4 bottles of that. Each one is a different flavor, has different fruits and veggies in it, with a grocery order a while back. And I never got around to drinking it all because she sent me Gatorade and all kind of drinks, fruit juice. I still got bottles of gallons of fruit juice in there. So I appreciate it, anonymous subscriber or anonymous giver. You have blessed me beyond belief, I'll tell you. Let's try this. You don't want to overcook it because that'll cause it to break up. So I'm going to turn that off. And usually when I eat chicken and dumpling, I don't care if I have bread or not. I mean, sometimes I'd rather not have the bread because you've got the bread basically in your dumpling. So, but yeah, you can fix you a pan of homemade biscuit if you want it. Throw you a can of biscuit in there. You can make garlic toast, even cornbread if you want cornbread. But like I said, I prefer to eat mine without bread because it's got bread in your dough, your pastry. So that's what I'm going to do. And I know usually I want to let it set there for a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and serve up a little bit of it. All the chicken's in the bottom. Oh, that looks so good, y'all. And you got all that shredded chicken down in there. There's plenty of chicken. And I like to eat mine with a spoon. I've got it in a bowl just like soup. Let's see if I can get this camera straightened out. There. Move it just a tad closer. Look at that. Don't that look good? Look at that. Oh my God. Buttery dumplings and plenty of chicken in there. Oh my goodness. Let's see if we can get some dumpling and some chicken. Yeah, I might wish I'd have cut my dumpling strips in half, because they made quite a big long strip, but it's okay. I can just cut them in half. Well, if I can get the chicken up there on my spoon. My spoon's too small, y'all. Y'all take the first bite. Oh, the chicken fell. Y'all take the first bite. Chicken and dumplings. Don't that look good? Oh my gosh. It's got to cool. Y'all take another bite. I got chicken hanging there. But it looks so good. It smells. My chicken dropped again. Oh my goodness. Come on, stay on that spoon because you're going in my mouth. As soon as I can get you cool enough to go in there. Mmm. Mmm. Hot, y'all. It was hot. Cool my mouth off. But you can't really see it to do it justice. I mean, look at that. Don't that chicken and dumplings look so good? Oh my goodness. Y'all try you some of this quick and easy, inexpensive way to fix chicken and dumplings in the summertime. So you don't have to heat up your kitchen. I mean, it heated up in here a little bit just with this pot cook going. But it's not like it would have been if I'd have had several pots going. Take another bite. That's dumplings right there. Mmm. Those things will melt in your mouth, y'all. And that butter, ooh. That is comfort food right there. No better comfort food in the whole world than chicken and dumplings. And I gotta let that cool. It's too hot to put in my mouth. Y'all take another bite. Piece of chicken and a big old fat dumpling in the spoon. And it's just dripping with butter and broth. Mmm. I got my mouth full and it's so hot I couldn't talk. I had to wait till I got it down to where it would quit burning my mouth. Yeah, let it cool before you put it in your mouth. Otherwise, you're going to burn your tongue. And like I said, you can use any kind of canned biscuit. The cheapest biscuit that you can find works great. I usually always get Great Value biscuits. If I'm going to put them in the oven, I usually get the Granny's buttermilk buttered biscuit. That's what these were. And they do come apart a little bit more than just the regular biscuit. So if you don't want yours to come apart, get the cheap red, the cheap Great Value plain biscuit, can of biscuit, and put those in there. I just had bought these because I was thinking about making something else with them, and I decided to put them in my chicken for pastry. But I showed you in a video one time how to make it, make your pastry from scratch. And I think I cooked a whole chicken. But I wanted to also show you this quick and easy way you can, with your saved chicken broth that you already had, one chicken breast, and a can of biscuit, and you can have the best pot full of chicken and dumplings you've ever tasted in your life. And with that, I'm going to call this a video, and I'll see you on my next one. Y'all have a blessed day, or whenever you watch this, whether it be night, morning, noon, whenever. And I will see you on my next one. Bye now. Love y'all.